Hello, welcome to the Friday Waffle Live. Yeah, I've not announced this at all. I was sitting in my living room thinking, right, I'll need to record this thing, and then I thought, why don't I do it live? So here I go. Yeah, welcome to Friday Waffle. Don't normally do many of these things. Um, Thank you very much for joining me. If you are watching this live, I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday. It's the weekend at last, thank goodness. What have I been doing this week? Gaming wise, what have I been doing? I've been absolutely caning the main cab, the big one that I've got. Really enjoying it. By the way, I can't actually see. I can't actually see any comments in this. Can I do that? Is that going to let me see live chat? Maybe a minute. Remember to live chat. Could somebody maybe say hello or something? Top chat? I don't know what that does. I'm using my iPad for this. Live chat, I don't know. Yeah, maybe somebody can comment. But anyway, yeah, what have I been doing this week? Apart from working, I have been, been absolutely caning the MAME cab, having great fun with that. I managed to get a version in MAME that it doesn't save high scores, but what it does do, it does save states, which basically means when you come out of the game and then you go back into it again, it basically restarts from wherever you left off. So it's quite good. It means that if you're in the middle of getting a high score in Galaxian and your mum shouts you for your tea, you can just basically come out and then jump back in again. So that has been that, gaming wise. Not been doing a great deal. I did make a little purchase, thanks to my mate Adam. He mentioned I love Raspberry Pis. I mean, Raspberry Pis they're the modern, for retro gamers. Raspberry Pis are absolutely fantastic because they're cheap. You know, they're about 30-40 quid, and you can download pre-made images from the internet, and you can plug it into your big TV, and you've got all these games, arcade games, console games, etc. So really good. So I treated myself to, it's a Raspberry Pi 400, I think they call it, and it's a Raspberry Pi within a keyboard. It's a tiny little keyboard, and everything is just built in. Yay, Milestar, how you doing? Oh, good. At least I can see I've got comments. That's going to help to kind of talk to you guys. So I treated myself to a Raspberry Pi 400. So it's like just a keyboard. I mean, it's good evening, Mark. It's mental. I want to actually. Why does it keep? It keeps making the. Hang on a second. Right, there we go. Right, I've just done top chat, which means they'll stay visible, which is good. So this Raspberry Pi, I mean, it's, as I say, it's just a keyboard, and the fact that it's a fully fledged computer in this thin keyboard is just absolutely mental. So got that yesterday, and I'm in the process of downloading a 256 gig image. Which is mental, because when I think back to 1997, when I first got my internet, I see my dog behind me. When I first got the internet, and good evening Panther, how you doing, son? When I first got the internet, and I remember downloading ROMs, and then when Neo Geo games were supported, they were absolutely huge. They were like 4 gig or like 2 gig. I mean, 2 gig on a dial-up internet took forever. Good evening, Christian. It took forever, and to think now you can download, I mean, that 256 gig image will probably take, I don't know, maybe 6 hours to download. Just absolutely mental. So before I forget, I want to do a recommendation. Good evening, Brian. Good evening, Mr. ZX Renew. This is not Sunday. Don't adjust your TVs. This is just a live Friday Waffle. I realised it was getting a bit late, and I thought I better get this done. It's always a wee bit, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking, it's always a wee bit, I never know how these Friday Waffles lives are going to go, because when I'm playing games, you've obviously got the games to distract you, but when you're doing a live Friday Waffle, it's like having the interview from hell. It's like being in front of a camera and you've got to talk and you've got people watching you. Excuse me a little second, I'm just going to have a drink out of my awesome dad mug. So anyway, I want to do a little recommendation. My mate Tony Temple, who some of you have probably seen if you watched the live stream, the 12-hour live stream, and I've also featured him in a few other videos. Tony's a good lad. He's a world champion at missile command, and he's got an absolutely fantastic website called Arcade Blogger. And I mean, Tony, the stuff that he digs up, it's all about the real, golden age of video games, the early days of Atari and that kind of stuff. Tony's got a fantastic website, but like I says, he is still the Missile Command World Champion. So he's been writing a book for, I think, the last 8 years, and it eventually came out, and this is it here. It is called Missile Commander. Now, I don't know, is that backwards to you guys? Hopefully it's not. It's certainly backwards in this video. Missile Commander, and there's Tony himself. I've literally had it a 3 or 4 days, and I'm 3 chapters into it, and it's excellent. I mean, at the moment he's just talking about Dave Toyer, who was a chap that actually wrote Missile Command. It's all about how Dave, got into video games and how he eventually got to work for Atari. It was through pure chance that he got to work for Atari. And Tony has done his research. Dave Toyer has actually done the foreword for it. And I've got Tony to sign it for me to big out. Good stuff. Excellent book. Like I said, I'm 3 chapters into it. Really good, really well made. I mean, it's glossy. It's got there's some pictures and artwork in this that I've never ever seen before. Definitely worth getting. So what I will do is, excellent read. I will put the link to that down below. Tony's not paying me. I had to buy this. I'm not getting paid to promote this, but like I say, Tony's a good lad. And if classic video games is your thing, go and check it out. Missile Commander by Tony Temple. So that is that. In case you hear any explosions, as you've probably guessed, it's firework night, I'm actually talking bollocks. It was firework night last night. Though living up in Scotland, it's been firework night for probably about the last 2 weeks. Now, personally, I'm not going to say I hate fireworks, but I think fireworks should be banned to the public. It should be something that's organised, displays. The thing that gets me is, when you think of health and safety, all the things that have changed over the years. When you think of all the things that have changed over the years, we're still selling explosives to the public. Now, like I said, for the last couple of weeks, from 6 o'clock at night to as late as midnight, you can just hear all these bangs and explosions and God knows what else. And I don't care what anybody says, but that is kids that are buying them. Now, how the hell they're getting a hold of them is beyond me. If they're really insisting we sell fireworks to the public, then can we not just restrict it to the day before Guy Fawkes night and the day itself, and after that just ban them? Because I've got 2 little dogs here. There's Archie. There he is. Say hello, Archie. He is absolutely terrified. He is shitting himself. I took him out for a walk about 20 minutes ago, and the pair of them, there was bombs, listen to me, there was bangs and explosions going off all over the place, and these little guys are absolutely terrified. I did make a wee post on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I'm not alone. People with dogs, if you've got dogs or cats, these animals are absolutely terrified, so I don't... they're an outdated thing. I mean, when you think, what are we actually celebrating? Yeah, we're celebrating the failure of a guy trying to blow up Parliament. Go figure. Don't get that one at all. So anyway, maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just becoming cantankerous. But I do notice The older I get, the more I seem to moan. But no, fireworks, I I think there are very, very few people who would actually. Good evening, Doug. And I'm going to see if I can freeze the topics. Ah, there we go. Right, okay. As kids, we did penny for the guy for 2 weeks up to Guy Fawkes Night, and we spent all the cash in bangers. Yeah, I mean the thing is, I do enjoy fireworks. Thing is, when I was a really young kid, does anybody remember the little? What are you doing, Archie? The little cap gun. It was these tiny little guns, and it was like little circle. You had about, I don't know. It was like a little circle, plastic circular thing, and there was maybe about 10 caps, and you put them into the this gun, and they were really. Good evening, wee Bob. Yeah, they were really, really loud, and when I was about 10 years old, one of my mates decided it'd be a great idea to put the thing up to my ear and fire it, and ever since then, I don't think I've got dulled hearing, but the hearing in that ear is definitely different from the hearing in that ear, and ever since that's happened, I am actually quite scared of bangs. Like if somebody had a balloon and they were going to pop it, I would run away. If I can't see somebody's going to pop a balloon, then that's fine, but it's the anticipation of like a bang or a pop, whatever. So maybe that's why I don't like fireworks. Saying that, I do actually enjoy going to a proper firework display. I mean, New Year at Edinburgh, they have an absolute epic firework display, and it is amazing. But I just think it's a outdated thing now. You know, for God's sake, let's get rid of them. Don't sell it to the public, because the thing is, I would say that 99% of the fireworks that are getting bought, they're not for display purposes. It's for arseholes, kids letting them off. I mean, a couple of nights ago, somebody on it's a local Facebook page said that there was kids up at the local Sainsbury's and they were letting fireworks off, trying to hit cars with them. You know, seriously, come on, the government, let's fucking ban these things. I hate them with a passion. So anyway, listen, what I'm going to do, I'm looking through the Friday Waffle future topics in my Discord channel. Let me just have a wee look. I wish you could actually, it doesn't show you, I can see there's 21 people in this, but it doesn't actually show you what does this do? I'm going to press a button, no, that just makes it different. Oh, dun, dun, dun. There we go, that looks better. How do I get back? Whoa! Christ, that's scary. And then we've got, God almighty, that is weird looking. Ooh, that is funky. What is that called? Dance party. Yeah, very good. Nah, I don't think so. Right, so we've got that, which is whatever. We've got that, that's called Silver Sky. I actually quite like that, that's quite nice. We've got Sepia, which is that. We've got Documentary. Evening Zipstick, how you doing, mate? That is like, I don't know, 1970s. This one's Glamour apparently, I don't know why. This is Dream. Do I look dreamy to you? Yeah, that's Dance Party, Bubbles, you know, whatever. Dawn, Noir, yeah, that's alright. That is just, what's that? Slate, Glow, Not, sadly, Ray, there's going to be no China Miner tonight. I say that's alright, what is that called? Pop, that's quite nice. That's just, I don't know. Yeah, okay, right, we'll stick with Pop, that's great. That makes it look nice and warm. Right, just bear with me a little second, I'm just going to see if I can find some questions. 4th of October, I'm going to be signed. Right, when was this? This was for wee Bob, back in the 6th of October. Question for the waffle: do you like games set in fictional worlds or one based on your geography? For example, playing Spider-Man, even on the PlayStation 4, I was able to almost replicate the rooftop view when my wife and I had visited New York for a few years back. We were a block away from the Empire State Building. Have you ever done a similar thing in a game? I think it depends, Bob. I mean, it really depends. I think if every game was set, you know, in a real world, you know, that one that you'd recognise, then it might be a bit dull. I mean, the whole thing for me about video games, it's about escapism. It's about having fun. So, you know, playing games in fictional worlds is really, really nice. But saying that, the fact that we've got the technology to pretty much replicate real life. I mean, one of my mates, he plays what do you call it, Flight Simulator 2020 or something, and I think it uses evening Mark. I think it kind of uses, what do you call it? It's not Google Maps, but it's something similar. It uses that technology, and it is absolutely staggering how realistic this flight simulator looks. It really is. It's just amazing looking. So for games like that, it's awesome. And it's the same way with what's it called? Project Gotham. I've got it over there. Project Gotham Horizon. I can't remember exactly what it's called. That's how often I've played it. Project Horizon, I think it is. It's a driving game by Microsoft on the, well, I've got it on the Xbox. And the reason I bought it is because it has got Edinburgh. It features Edinburgh in it, so you can basically drive around this, and it's amazing. I mean, it's you can tell it's not real. You know, it's not that good looking. It is staggering, but you can tell it's not bang on. I think the big thing that it lacks with these things, these driving games especially, is there are no people. You're driving about an empty street, so it does feel a wee bit. You can kind of tell it's not real. You know what I mean, because the streets are empty. But now, getting back to your question, Bob, I think it depends. I do like what do you call it? I do like games featured in, you know, fantasy environments, but then conversely, I do. I mean, I think I would absolutely love it if Rockstar Games brought out Grand Theft Auto Scotland. That would be fantastic. Being able to walk about. Where you kind of, well, I didn't grow up in Edinburgh, but being able to walk about a place that you recognise, that would be excellent. But yeah, I do like a bit of both, to be fair. Second bit was, I can hardly read that because my eyesight is shit. When doing the magazine reviews, you usually skip the text adventure games, not very exciting for a live stream. Did you ever, yeah, bagpipes and piss-ups, absolutely. I think you normally do you not normally do a stream with one of your mates, Chris, or what you do? Sorry, did you ever enjoy a text adventure game? And if so, which ones? Text adventures, I think the only, let me think, I did try to play The Hobbit, but I'm not very imaginative, so I kind of gave up pretty easily. Twin Kingdom Valley was a game. Good evening, Ian. How you doing? Party Drive Club. Really? Is it? Oh, I've got Drive Club. I'll need to have a look at that. Twin Kingdom Valley by Bug Bite, I think it was. Yeah, that was. I did play that briefly. It did have. What do you call it? It did have graphics, which quite appealed to me. And the only other text adventure that I did play, and I didn't get very far, and I have mentioned it before, is Castle of Terror, which is just an absolutely stupendous game, mainly because of the music. The music is just epic. It's probably about the most atmospheric SID that I've heard, that really ties in with the game. It really makes you want to play the game. Big pisser about Castle of Terror is you cannot complete it. I'm not speaking from experience, I'm speaking because people have told me that. Apparently there's a bug and you physically cannot complete the game. But I think that's about the only text adventures I played. When I got the Atari ST, I kind of dabbled very, very briefly with was it The Pawn by Magnetic Scrolls, because it had amazing looking graphics. So it was always the graphics that kind of appealed to me. Even though it was a text adventure, the fact that I had really nice screenshots, I played that briefly, but no, I'm just a bit thick, and I just get bored very easily. So after 5 minutes, I'm like that with any game. If I can't get anywhere after a short period of time, I tend to kind of move on. So anyway, thank you, Bob. I mean, that was, you asked me that on the 6th of October. Dale Boy is asking, I don't know if Dale's in there. Dale, are you in the stream tonight? Product placement in games and YouTube, good or bad? Does it make you research things or a distraction? Product placement in games, I'm really not fussed either way. I suppose, kind of going back to what Bob was talking about. Evening Neil, how you doing, son? Ray's saying Castle of Terror, definitely a bug, or did the programmer deliberately design it? Hang on a wee second, I'm just wanting to see if I can... No, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to see all that. Hang on a second, I want to hide that. I want to bring up view chat options. Oh, that is the chat options. Hide all chat messages, live chat. Right, stay. Yeah, sorry, Castle of Terror, definitely. Oh, it keeps disappearing. That's a pain in the arse. Stop disappearing. Good evening, George. That's a pain in the arse. Why does it keep disappearing? I want it to stay. It kind of appears for a wee while and then it just goes. Yeah, was it? Don't disappear. Hang on. Mark, that was one of the. That was out of the. Was that Gandalf or whatever it was? I think it was. Right, Castle of Terror, definitely a bug, or did the programmer deliberately design it this way? The vampire cannot be killed. I don't know. You never know. I always thought there was a bit of a conspiracy theory with early games in the sort of 8-bit machines. It would boast that there was like 25 levels, and then, I mean, perfect example is China Miner. Now, fortunately, Charlie Farr was able to complete China Miner because I'm one of these people that think to myself, if you make, there's nothing to stop a programmer making a certain level almost impossible. Say level 3 for example, they make it almost impossible. So what's to say there's 25 levels? If nobody can get past level 3, then you would never know if there weren't any extra levels. As it turns out, like I says, Charlie Farr did manage to complete it. So China Miner does indeed have, I think it's 23 levels. Excuse me, 23 levels. I thought I was going to be sick there. I must remember to breathe. Dave Lynn, absolutely, yeah. He's an absolute amazing video game player. What were we talking about? I can't remember what we're talking about. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there were some games that they deliberately made impossible. I don't know. Excuse me. Right, that was me, Bob. So product placement. Yeah, getting back to your question, Dale. I don't mind. I mean, I think if I was wanting to play a game for realism, like say something like Grand Theft Auto 5, you want to have things that you can relate to. You want to have adverts. So having signs for Coca-Cola or McDonald's, it all adds to the realism of the game environment. I mean, things like BioShock, it obviously uses made up product placement, but I mean, the whole sort of, is it neo-gothic, I don't know what you'd call it, art decor of the whole environment of BioShock is just amazing with the adverts and that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. So having that kind of stuff can really kind of drag you into a game and get you right into the sort of get you into the whole ambience of the game. Good evening, Tony. How you doing, son? I don't know. Yep, Tony is in the stream. I was just telling the people about this rather wonderful game, wonderful book. I'm three chapters in, Tony. Really enjoying it, mate. Right, anyway, number 2 from Del Boy. In recent years, have you been encouraged to take an old machine apart and see how it works? Yes and no. I would never take something apart to see how it works, because I am like a cack-handed baboon when it comes to technology. Me and tech, me and like fixing things just does not get on. But saying that, I have in the past when I've had a computer. I mean, I've had a couple of broken Commodore 64s, and I've opened them up and I've taken chips out and I've swapped chips. I've managed to get it working. I mean, back in 1985, there was no way I was ever going to open up a computer because, you know, it was like £180, £200 worth. What would that be in today's money? £300-400. You were never ever going to be that stupid and open up something. But now, you know, you can buy a broken computer for 20-30 quid. So what is there to lose? So I will on occasions open up machines to see if I can fix them. But I mean, I bought my third Vectrex a few months ago, and I was kind of, unfortunately, I knew it didn't work properly. So I had a look on YouTube and asked a few questions. I says, look, how dangerous is it to open up something that's got the actual CRT monitor? And a few people said, yeah, you need to be very, very careful, but as long as you know what you're doing, then you should be fine. I watched a couple of videos. I watched a guy, he actually had this thing switched on and he was trying to kind of tune it in, whatever, to get the lines to line up. So I took the back off it, and I didn't have it switched on. I took the back off it, and then all I could see was this bloody big tube thing, whatever it's called. It's like a big sucker. Tony will know what I'm talking about. A big sucker that goes onto the back of the monitor, and there was a couple of sort of knobs that you could kind of turn, and I was trying to get my hand in to sort of twist one of these knobs, and my hand was about an inch away from the sucker thing, and I just thought, you know what, I'm an absolute twat. If somebody's going to electrocute themselves on a Vectrex, it's going to be me. So I took cold feet, put the back on, and yeah. So you're saying that, Chris, slightly high voltage. I have heard from a few people saying that you're not going to die if you get electrocuted with a Vectrex, but you'll know all about it. So that was enough for me. So fortunately, I sent it off to one of my friends who's now managed to fix it, and I'm just waiting for him to send it back. So yeah, did I open up computers back in the day? Not back in the day, but I have opened them up since then to try and fix them. Are you speaking from experience, Panther? I'd be genuinely curious to know if that's the case. Like I said, I would open up one just to see, but I wouldn't open up something that's brand new because I'm more likely to actually break it. Third one from Delboy here. In the past, the industry criticised manufacturers on developing graphic cards faster than sound cards. Do we do enough on... Sorry, what's that? Do we do enough on battery life? Think Oculus Quest. Right, okay, right. So I'm not quite sure what you're meaning here, Doug. In the past, the industry criticised manufacturers on developing graphic cards faster than sound cards. Do we do enough on battery life? Think Oculus Quest, cars and old Nokia phones versus... right, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. We've got fancy phones, we can Skype people abroad. I'm sitting in front of a tablet in my living room talking to people. The technology that we've got is incredible, and yet the battery life in most things is still pants. I mean, this thing here, my phone, I don't know what it is, it's a Samsung 7, and it's quite old now, and I can usually get about 24 hours, well maybe not 24, I can maybe get about, I don't know, I'll charge it, leave from my work at 7 in the morning, and usually I've still got a bit, maybe 10% when I get back at night, so it's not too bad. But yeah, why is it so difficult to develop a battery that will actually last? Don't understand that. If you want to talk about battery life, go and speak to the guys at Nintendo. I don't know how they manage it, but the Nintendo DS, the original, is it the DS Lite? The battery life in that is just absolutely phenomenal. I don't understand how they manage it. I mean, I bought a DS, a second-hand one, about 2 years ago, and I shit you not, I think I've maybe charged it twice and it just seems to run and run and run and run. Don't know how they actually manage it. But yeah, that's the problem. And you get all these modern sort of consoles that come out, and even the Switch and that kind of stuff. And yeah, they're wonderful, but if they're portable, you need to have a decent battery, and that's the problem with a lot of these things. The battery isn't very good. So yeah, I wish somebody would come up with better technology for the battery. Now I did see Doug had. In fact, wait a wee minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to see if I can actually see. If I can see my this live stream. Is it going to show my live stream on my phone? Your videos, gaming stream. No, it's not. Why is that? Why is that? You guys can see me in this, so why can't I see myself? Hang on. Your channel. Right, there's the smug gate there, looking like a twat. That's a bugger. No, bugger off. I just clicked on an advert. Right, for some weird reason I can't actually see the live chat. No, oh wait a minute, live chat. Ah, there we go. Ding dang do. Right, okay, I've got the live chat here. Yeah, Doug's saying here, I remember the first game with ads, pole position. That's right, yeah, they used to advertise other Atari games. I mean, one of my favourite games, Rocket Ball, it advertised, was it Pepsi, Cola and Quattro. If you're of a certain age, you might remember Quattro. It was basically Lilt. Some of you may not even know what Lilt is. It was kind of like, it was a tropical fruit, pineapple and mango, whatever. But of course, back in the old days, companies would just use product placement and they wouldn't have to bother paying for it. Excuse me. Right, I'm just having a little look. Right, Doug's asking, can you get real vector graphics on a modern flat screen, or must it be a CRT? I take it you're talking about proper vector graphics. I'm really not too sure. Actually, the man that would probably be able to answer that is Mr. Temple. I don't know if Tony's still in the stream. Tony, do you know that? Can you get real vector graphics on a modern flat screen, or must it be a CRT? I don't know. I would imagine. I mean, I know the monitors that ran things like Asteroids. It was the monitor. I can't. It's got a name for it, but I can't remember. Tony was talking to one of the guys that did Asteroids. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, a proper vector monitor is different from a CRT. So I'm really not too sure, Doug. I mean, to be fair, things like MAME actually do a pretty good attempt at vector graphics now, and whilst it doesn't have, you could never ever replicate that glowy visual effect of a real vector monitor. You're never going to be able to actually get that. It does do pretty well. It really does. Coming a quick look. Yeah, Christian's saying here, my old Nokia can last for 1 week. You know what? I would love to buy a Nokia phone. I mean, this thing's fine. God, what a twat. This thing's absolutely fine, but I would love just to have a phone that I didn't have to worry about charging, because the number of times there was something happened. I can't remember what it was. It was maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just left my work, and I had to make an urgent phone call, and I got into the car, and I dialed the number, and then it was engaged, and I thought, alright, okay, I'll try again, and then I tried 5 minutes later, and I realised that my phone was down to 1%, and I had to make this phone call, and I'm like, shit. So I ended up stopping the car and texting the person, and they never got back to me, and then by sheer luck, the person actually phoned me, and I think I had about 25 seconds to talk, and then it just cut out. You know, so I would love just to have like a Nokia, something that I can just charge up and not worry about it running out of batteries. Excuse me. Right. Anyway, Right. I'm gonna actually go into how we're doing for time. 34 minutes. Right, that's probably quite enough. I think you've probably had enough of me because it was an impromptu live stream. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into last week's Friday Waffle and see if there's any questions. I think there was a couple actually. And I'm just going to have a drink of my tea. You're too kind, Christian. Thank you very much. Right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the Friday Waffle. Yeah, whatever, Alan. Right, okay. Let's find the comments. So how are you all? I didn't actually ask you that. Let me have a look at. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to jump in and see if I can find. Where's the comments for my videos? Oh, it's there, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay, right. These aren't all questions. I'm just going to run through the comments. Don Hotmail, he commented, Friday Waffle, Retro Hour podcast, and Metal Jesus. This is what makes a Friday special. Thank you very, very much, Don. You know what I mean? To be mentioned in the same company as the Retro Hour podcast and Metal Jesus is very, very complimentary. It always amazes me that a stupid guy like myself, just a twat, talking pish about video games, that people actually look forward to listening to this. It makes me smile, it really does. Vinny the Macam, Mainmeister's Friday Waffle, where talk goes cheap every few minutes until the monitor gets hungry. Now, I didn't have a clue. Evening, Colin. I didn't have a clue what you're talking about until I realised I was, when I was doing the waffle last week, all you could hear was these bloody crickets. So yeah, that's a reference to the crickets. Keep up the good work, Al. Whatever direction you take with the channel, I'm sure it'll be as good as ever. Thank you very much. Dale Boy, missed question. Although the SID is the best, have you heard many remixes of Commodore 64 tunes that are not SID and use main instruments like guitars, pianos, etc.? And what are your thoughts on them over the originals? Excuse me. I mean, I've heard a few of the remakes. I know Chris Abbott, he's done a few remakes of C64 tunes. There's been various ones over the years. I mean, there's other SID remixes of like Commando and all the sort of classic SID tunes. And I've heard obviously things like Press Play and Tape, Ben Dalglish, Mad Fiddler, John Hare, all these guys would, play live. I've not actually heard any of the orchestras playing these tunes, but yeah, I noticed the other day you're mentioning like Forbidden Forest. I would imagine that would be amazing with an orchestra because it was people that just talk about SID tunes and just think of them as like plinky plonky tunes. These are actually real masterpieces, and then when you hear something like Monty on the Run played with an orchestra, it's an incredible piece of music. It really is. But yeah, I used to there was a few, I can't remember, I bought them many years ago, I can't remember what they were called. There was also a Martin Galway one that I bought, remixes, and as impressive as these remixes are, because you've got real instruments and they've got they're using more than like 3 channels, as impressive as they are, I still always hark back to the originals because that's what happens. It's like films, you get remakes and all this kind of stuff, but you always go back to the original because I fell in love with the SID chip, the Commodore 64 and the SID music. And I think the fact that it's a computer that came out in like 1982 or something, the fact that this little grey slab can make amazing music is what makes it so impressive. I mean, audibly it is impressive, but the fact that it's something so old making that music, that's what makes it even more impressive in my opinion. Whereas when you get Monty on the Run coming out of a PC or a PlayStation 4 or something, it just doesn't have the same effect. Even though technically it's better. It's a bit like, I suppose, some of these HD remakes of classic games. They're not always going to be that. If you show a kid an HD remake and an original of, I don't know, just say something like, I don't know, Bruce Lee or something, chances are they're going to want to play the remake. But because it was original that I remembered, that's the one that I'm always going to enjoy. I don't think there's been any remake across any platform of any game that I've preferred the new one. I've always enjoyed the old one. That's just a nostalgia thing. So anyway, yeah, thank you very much, Del. That was a nice question. Robert Morrison, here, if you want to take a break, I'll then take a break. Pop into Discord once in a while and let us know how it's going. Yeah, I didn't want to scare anybody. I didn't want to be overly dramatic last week. I was just being honest, and that's what I like about this channel, with the community we've got. I can be honest. We can all be honest with each other. I don't know. I think last week, I was talking, I was speaking to Panther. I was speaking to Panther. I think I was talking to you on the phone actually, and I was just telling him how I was just finding, the tank was empty, and I had no. I was struggling. Not struggling with life. I was just struggling with making videos. I think with my job being so busy, I was just coming home at night, and I think the fact that it's so dark and that as well. I'm starting to get used to it now. I still don't like the dark nights. I prefer light nights where you can come in, take the dogs at a walk, go for a cycle, go for a walk at 10 o'clock at night. I think just the whole being dark and leaving in the morning when it's dark, coming back at night and it's still dark. I was just like, don't know what I'm going to do. I've still not done any. Good evening, Dale. I've actually just answered your question, so you're going to have to go back and watch the rerun of this. Watch it on Catch Up TV. I've not actually had a chance to make. I tell a lie. I have done one video which I'm going to put out. When will I put it out? Tuesday, I think. Yeah, it'll be Tuesday. I think it'll be, because I'll have the Sunday stream. What am I talking about? I've completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, I've got the bit between my teeth again, and I will be trying to put out more videos. But like I says, I will always do the Friday Waffle, because the Friday Waffle is good fun, and I will absolutely try and get the Sunday live stream put out, because I think that's probably the highlight of my YouTube week, because there's interaction with everybody. It's always really, really good fun. This coming Sunday, what did I say it was? It's going to be a Commodore Amiga special. I'm saying special, it's not special, it's just going to be Commodore Amiga games. Yeah, last week it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a disaster. It was all so I'm just looking at the comments here. What was I going to say? Yeah, last week it was blimey, what the bloody hell is this? It was my spreadsheet of doom which picked some games for me to play, and most of them were god awful. And I think we got to a point where I think we were about an hour and a bit in, and we thought, you know what, enough's enough. I think we'll just need to play some decent games. So this Sunday it's going to be Commodore Amiga. Yeah, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Be there or be square. 0123 Hendy, do what's best for you, sir, and as long as there's Friday and Sunday, I'm happy. Must say you helped during lockdown. Thank you very, very much, Hendy. That's very, very kind of you. And my old buddy, Mr. Gamer Steve. Hi mate, if you feel the need to take a break, then we'll understand and we'll be here when you return. Knowing you'll be back one day would make it fine, which would be infinitely better than you totally quitting. I'd be utterly gutted. Oh, bless you, Steve. I'll not be going anywhere, mate. Don't worry about that. Mr. Hunter. Hi, Alan. Although I don't comment or interact much these days, I never miss a Main Meister video. If you feel the need to take a break, we'll be here when you return. Stay safe, mate. Thank you very much, Ian. Before I forget, yeah, I was talking to Panther again, and I'll probably need to actually tie up at some point next week. I think we're going to try. I would like to do the. I don't know. I was saying a 6-hour live stream. I think that's maybe a bit much. Yeah, maybe go for at least. We'll go for. I don't know. Here's the deal. We'll meet halfway. What about a 5-hour live stream? We'll do a 5-hour live stream on a Sunday. Probably what we'll do is we'll finish it at 9. So what would that be? 4 o'clock to 9, something like that. Like I said, there's not going to be any special guests. Anybody that wants to come into it is more than welcome. It's just going to be me playing games. Tell you what. Can you, in the comment section of this, any Amiga game that you want for me to play, can you put it down below? Either that or Discord. If somebody can start a topic, future live stream topic, just put down all Amiga games that people want to see play, because I am conscious I tend to spend quite a bit of time faffing about, having to go out and look for comments and that kind of stuff. So if I can get a list of maybe, I don't know, 20 games, something like that, that would be good. But stick them in the comments in this, and Discord, whatever. And then what we'll do is we'll try and pull them all together, so I've got a list that we can kind of work through. That would be wonderful. London Retro Video Games, Lewis, thanks for opening up, Alan. To be honest, more videos such as Arcade Perfects or 8-bit kerfuffles is not necessary when I'm looking from you anymore. You've got loads of historical content for that fix. What I think you've done an amazing job of is creating a great community, and working on that could definitely be the next stage. Collab videos, Friday Waffles, Sunday streams, and interacting with everyone on Discord is great from my perspective. Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, you know what, I mean, I'm so lucky having, I do think I'm quite unique. Not me, but the channel is quite unique compared to other YouTube channels. I think Novabug's got something similar. He's got a real loyal bunch of people that watches his videos. But we've definitely made friends in this thing, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's really good. But what Lewis is saying there. Good evening, Mark. How you doing, buddy? What was I going to say there? Yeah, if you're fairly new to the channel, I think I'm sure I've made 1,500 videos. Yep, that's 1,500 videos, 1,500 videos. There are absolutely shitloads of content on my channel. So if you want to see, if you want to watch me playing games in a poorly or whatever, just dig in. There's playlists. If you go to my channel, there's playlists, C64 Spectrum, Arcade, Perfect, my arses, there's, you name it. I mean, I've got more features than a flat screen TV. I actually forget about half the playlists I've got, but like I say, there's 1,500 videos to work through. And because I talk about old stuff, I don't really talk about new games, then a video that I made 5 years ago is relevant. I have to warn you now, I do look, I've obviously aged considerably since the early videos, but it's still the same. So yeah, plenty of videos to dig into there. Let's have a wee look. Right, Craig Flanagan. Good evening, Craig. I don't know if Craig's in. I've loved it since lockdown. Your channel is amazing, and I have amazing friends in this. And if one thing that has happened from lockdown is amazing people on your channel, yeah, like I says, yous all aren't too bad. I'm pretty lucky having you lot, to be fair. Wee Bob, great waffle. I understand the feeling of YouTube fatigue, having taken a few months off in late 2019. It was good to have that time, but the drive to make videos came back. I am going down to one video every 2 weeks on my art channel, and the gaming channel is usually once a week, but only if I have something to say. when you're coming in from work, the last thing you want to do is sit and edit videos, even though you might not mind editing them. Even if you decide to take a break, I think most people will stick around until you return. But hopefully, I think, like I says, I've got a good bunch that watch it. Even if you decide to take a break, I've just said that bit. Question for next waffle: you used to go to Ray's shop for games, but were there any other shops that you specifically remember going to for games? Hope you have a great week. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, Ray's computer shop. I'm like I'm like that old granddad who constantly says the same thing over and over again. Back in 1979, before I really knew what computers were, there was a little shop. There was a little shopping centre, just about 10 minutes from where I used to stay. And you know, it had like a supermarket, it had a not Marks and Spencer's, it had an Aris McCall, which is a little newsagent, it had a hairdressers, a baker's, and then this shop popped up that sold computers. Now, I didn't really know what a computer was at that point, so me and my mates used to go in, and this shop, it was literally, I don't know, it was no bigger than an average living room. It was just a tiny little shop, and he had all these shelves going round, and on the shelves it was Atari. It was Atari. He had a number of Atari 800s. He had a few Atari 400s. He was just an Atari dealer. Now, Ray Agostini, he was an Italian guy. Sadly, I think Ray's got Alzheimer's. Actually, I was talking to his nephew about a year ago. He was selling some stuff on Facebook, and I found out that was the guy's nephew, or his grandson, I think it was. And he says that his dad's got Alzheimer's, which is very sad. But yeah, Ray used to stock these arcade games, Ataris, and this was like 1979, and I just used to love going in there. I would go in there on a Saturday morning, and there was always, I don't think I ever saw a girl in the place. It was always just guys that were in the place, and they usually smoked pipes. It was always, I can still remember the smelly like pipe smoke. That was when you could smoke in public places, and I would just stand and look at the games. On the very odd occasion, if there's nobody else in, Ray would let you have a shot of Bruce Lee. So, I mean, there's things like Bruce Lee, Summer Games, what else? Blue Max, Boulder Dash, all these games, all these real early arcade games, computer games. And like I say, if there was nobody in the shop, Ray would occasionally let you have a shot of it. But I was just absolutely mesmerised with these things. I can still remember seeing Bruce Lee in Atari 800 and just thinking, oh, I would love to have one of these. But I was like, I don't know what age would I be? I would be 79, I'd be about 12, 13. Yeah, I'd be about 13 years old, no job, no income to speak of. So it was just like a pipe dream, you know. I would love to have won one of these, but I was never going to ever get it. So then when I eventually did get a part-time job, got my Commodore 64, and I used to get paid on a Saturday, and it was a little brown envelope, and it had about 12 quid in it, and I used to finish at I think it was all guys younger than me. That's the funny thing. I used to finish work at 5 o'clock on a Saturday night, and Ray's shop used to close at 5:30, and if I bombed it out, if I ran down to the underground car park, jumped on my moped, if I was lucky, I could get to Ray's shop for about 25 past. Now sometimes I would get there and he'd be shut because there was probably no customers, and I would be absolutely gutted. And then on other occasions I'd get in and I would literally have 2 or 3 minutes, and Ray would be like, come on, the shop shuts in 10 minutes, and I was like, right, okay, and I would try and look and buy something. So sometimes I'd buy a game and it wasn't very good, because this is before obviously the internet, it was before magazines were a thing. So it was basically based on, you based the game looking at the cover and the back of it. You'd look at screenshots weren't a thing until later on, so it was literally, you looked at the cover and it was like a hand-drawn picture of a spaceship, and you thought, oh wow, this looks amazing, and you'd buy it based on somebody's drawn in the front, and the game 9 times out of 10 would be nothing like what you thought it was going to be. So that was pretty much the only place I could buy games for a couple of years. And then John Menzies up in, it was the big shopping centre where I worked, they started stocking computers. The games that used to always be in the window, the Spectrum had, in the early days, it was Bugaboo the Flea. That was always one they had, because it had the wee kind of intro of the flea falling down the hole and then trying to get back out again. When the C64, what did they have? Ghostbusters was one that used to have. A game that used to always appear on the C64 was Mr. Mephisto. I don't know if you've heard of that one. But again, it was quite a, you basically play the part of, I don't know what you are, you're this little guy and you're trying to escape hell. So Mr. Mephisto was a game they always played in the C64. Spectrum, they used to also have, it was that game with massive balls, no pun intended, and also, what was the other game? School Days, they always had that one. So yeah, John Menzies started selling games, and the problem with Ray's computer shop was he was primarily an Atari dealer, but he did stock C64 games, hence the reason I used to go up there. But John Menzies came along and they used to stock a lot more games, so that became my place of choice for buying games. Then when I got my Commodore Amiga, trying to think, that would be late 1980, 1988, 89. I got my Commodore Amiga and the Atari ST. I used to, by that point I had a car and I used to go into Edinburgh and I would go to Virgin Megastore and I would buy my Amiga games there. So yeah, it was Ray's computer shop, then it was John Menzies, and then it became Virgin Megastore. Yeah. Excuse me a little second. Right, Mr. Swinbuckle. Hopefully there's a question. Yeah, there's a question. Hello again, Main Meister. First things first, before I ask my question, I agree with everybody else here in the comments. This YouTube malarkey is your hobby, so if it's becoming a chore, then take a break and recharge old batteries. No need to explain yourself. Anyway, question for the next Friday Waffle. I would like to present you with a dream scenario. Ho ho. One day, while at home relaxing, your phone rings and it turns out to be Channel 4 saying they want to bring back a TV programme in the same style as Games Master. The reason they're calling you is that they've seen your YouTube channel and they would like you to design and present a new show. You will be given complete control and can do anything you want, providing it's to do with computer games. Do you go with the tried and tested and become the next Dominic Diamond, or do you mix it up a bit and put your own spin on things? Fantastic. Super, that would be excellent. Yeah, if the BBC are watching this and they want a grouchy Scottish bloke, since Dominic Diamond lives in Canada, then I'm your man. Yeah, that would be wonderful. What would I do? I think it would be, I would definitely have challenges, but I would feature a lot of the classic games. I think it would be 8-bit and probably up to maybe the PlayStation. Yeah, possibly the PlayStation. It would be up to maybe the Mega Drive PC Engine. But yeah, there would be stuff in Sensei Soccer, there would be loads of games, it would definitely be 8-bit. It would be wonderful bringing all these people that I've spoke to. You know, imagine having Rob Hubbard and, I don't know what we'd call it, need to come up with something. But yeah, it'd be wonderful. It would definitely be old school. I says it'd be 8-bit games, just having all these people in to talk about games, and I would get guys like Mr. Tony Temple, I would get Dave, Charlie Farr, all these, John Studley, get all these guys in as well. It would all be, I would also want to play, what do you call it, have arcade games. You know, there was a real crusty TV programme called Starcade, which went out in America. It would be sort of, I'm trying to think, it would be early 80s. I don't know when it kind of went off. It was basically when Pac-Man and all these games started coming out in 1980, 1982, and these kids play video games. The big thing about this game was, or about the reason it was broken. It was completely broken because what they'd have is there are two people and they would play 3 arcade games, and basically the person that had the overall highest score would win. Now, anybody that knows their video games, you play Space Invaders, a good score at Space Invaders might be 2,000 points. A poor score in, I don't know, I'm trying to think, a poor score in maybe Galaga, or Galaga, whatever you want to call it, would maybe be 10,000 points. So it would mean that one player may win, they may get the highest score in 2 of the 3 games, but it's the person that gets the highest score on the game that gives you the most points would end up winning. So, like I says, if 2 people play 3 games, the person that only wins one of the games could end up winning. So it was a bit of a kind of broken mechanism. But yeah, I would definitely have arcade games. Like I said, I'd have all these amazing players playing them. Getting guys like Dave to show you tips how to improve arcade games, feature stuff like MAME, emulators, plenty Commodore 64, Amstrad, Spectrum, Atari, all these things. It would really be old school. So yeah, if anyone from the BBC is watching this, get in touch. Yeah, great question, Milfy. How are we doing for time? Bloody hell, that's an hour already. Ben Dust, could you use some of the planned videos for the Sunday live sessions instead? Saves all the time of production. You could ask us for suggested games in the Friday Waffle, and you could do a live kerfuffle or arcade perfect. Yeah, I am going to try and do more. I'm going to do more. What do you call it? Good evening, Scott. How you doing, son? Haggis, yeah. I saw the haggis supper last night. Is haggis a thing down in England? I don't know. But up in Scotland, haggis, it's deep fried in batter. Awesome. Yeah, I am going to try and do more, what do you call it, live arcade perfect my arses, especially in games like Defender and Pac-Man and Missile Command, because there are literally so many different versions, and to try and do a recording of that, I'd be there all day. Retro Russ, put a 20-inch CRT TV in your Defender main cab, mate. It will transform it. You can get them off Facebook Marketplace for 20 quid or less. It makes my cabs look so authentic. Yeah, not a bad idea, Ross. I mean, I'm really happy with my arcade cabinet at the moment. I might, maybe, I don't know, further down the line, I may think about doing something like that. But I think I'm just going to enjoy it the way it is. I've got it running really, really well. So, and Mr. Jones, Colin, you know my views on this. If you're not feeling it, you can't make good content. This does not mean you haven't put out a bad video lately. You've built up a community now that has momentum, and I'm sure we'll see more when the muse appears. How can anyone watch me? Well, you have it. Sorry, when you have it, and you have it. Thank you very much, Colin. DisplayPort is great for multi-monitor setups because you can daisy chain monitors with the standard. It's otherwise very similar to HDMI. My graphics card has both DP and HDMI, and my laptop has mini DP, and I can connect both to my HDMI ultra-wide monitors using a simple cable. Blimey. Right, anyway, boring question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Is that regarding my YouTube channel or just what I'm going to be doing? From a personal point of view, where do I see myself? I would like to think that I'm still going to be in the same job because I do enjoy the job, and I want to try and get a bit of I want to stay and get used to, because it's not a good idea moving all the time. Every time you change a job, you've got the whole pressure of being a new person and can I do the job and that kind of stuff. Where do I see myself? I don't really see very much changing in my life. Will I still be living on my own? I don't know. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know how things are going to go. I'm quite happy. Right now I'm actually very happy with my lot. I've got my own wee house. I've got 2 arcade cabinets. My daughter can come and live with me whenever she wants. So yeah, I'm happy with my life. So 5 years from now, Doug, I think I'm just going to be a wee bit older looking. I was going to say a bit greyer, but chances are it won't be for obvious reasons. YouTube wise, it's hard to predict. You know, if somebody told me back in 2009 that I would still be making videos 7 years later, you'd probably dismiss it and think, nah, I don't think that's the case. But unless something drastic was to happen, like I was just to completely fall out of love with computer games, I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I could safely say, unless I was to lose my sight or get arthritis in my hands or something, I really don't see that happening. So I'd like to think that I'll still be making videos 5 years from now. Will you guys still be watching? Hopefully, we shall see. You know what? Don't worry about the future. I just live for the I was going to say I live for the past. I just live for the present. That's the only way to live your life. At least that's what I think anyway. Catherine Tyson, hello Alan. Sorry to see you're feeling that way, but it's understandable to get burnt out or tired of this, and we, your friends, will understand if you wish to take a break. I have a silly question for you. What is the best game you have ever played that was given away on the front of a magazine? Now, I was going to say an admission, Catherine. When they started giving away games on magazines, I had already moved over to the Commodore Amiga. I mean, they didn't give away. I got my C64 in 1983, I think it was, and I sold it. When did I sell it? 1987. So that was me. I didn't have a C64 now. In 1987, they weren't giving away tapes. I mean, putting tapes and discs on magazines, it was only something that they started doing because I think they were starting to run out of stuff to talk about. Magazines were getting thinner and thinner and thinner. There was fewer games coming out, and they obviously stumbled upon. They realised that giving away discs was a way of selling magazines. So to answer your question, Catherine, I don't think I ever got a free game with my Commodore 64 because I said I'd got rid of it in 1987. And Amiga Power, what was the other stuff? Amiga Power, Amiga Format, and obviously PC games and PlayStation games. There was 2 discs that came free with I think it was Amiga Power, and I played them constantly. First one was Sensible Soccer. I always remember getting the disc, and you could play. I can't remember, could you play one match? I think you could play like a 2-minute match, something like that. And I remember getting this disc, and that was it. I was absolutely in love with this game. As far as I was concerned, now I'm not a football person. As far as I was concerned, this was the best game ever. I mean, Sensible Soccer was awesome. So me and my mates played this demo constantly until eventually the game was released and I bought it. And the second game that I remember getting free, again it was a demo, and it was what the bloody hell do you call it? It was by Acid Software. Skid Marks, that's it. Skid Marks, yes. It was an absolutely. Good evening, Christopher. How are we, Squire? Yeah, I couldn't be arsed recording it. I thought by the time I record these things and then I upload it and then I edit it together, it just takes up too much time. So I thought I'll just do a live Friday Waffle. Be done with it, nice and easy. So yeah, anyway, Skid Marks. It came out on. I think it was Amiga Power released it, and I think they had 2 tracks, and it was just absolutely awesome. It was fantastic. The demo was amazing, and the sad thing was when I did eventually buy the game, I think it was a copy, but anyway, when I did eventually buy the game, they had obviously tweaked the gameplay slightly, and it just wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as the. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as what do you call it? As the demo. I don't know why. They'd obviously just kind of they'd obviously tweaked the gameplay, and the actual game itself just it wasn't as good as the demo. So yeah, skid marks and sensible soccer. These were the two. These are the two discs games that came free. Catherine absolutely loved them to bits. Evening, Robert. How are we? Yeah, you've probably joined quite late. We're almost finished, but yeah, you've got. God almighty, we're 69 minutes in. Dearie me. And Mr. Panther UK, good waffling stuff, mate. No need to apologise. If you need a break, then take one. Simple. But seeing as whatever you decide, waffles will continue. I'd best ask a question, tongue-in-cheek question. Going by the hours you put into Elite, what do you think is keeping you from Elite Dangerous? However many times Lacosa and I try to entice you in. I loved Elite. I absolutely loved the original Elite. I think it's two things, three things possibly, Panther. One, back then, you weren't as spoiled for choice. I mean, because I've got all these ROMs, I've got all these games, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of games I could play. And you think to yourself, well, why would I want to play one game for hours and hours and hours? Because I'm potentially missing. So that's one reason. I've got too many other games to play. Secondly, for some reason, I don't see my time. I don't know where my time goes. I've got no idea what I actually do with my time. And that's why I've been struggling making YouTube videos. So, the thought of sitting down for 3 hours and playing Elite Dangerous is just something that I couldn't see myself doing. Maybe if I was, I don't know, if I wasn't working, then I think it would be something that I would probably try. But I think just because my time is so limited, like weekends I spend with my daughter, my girlfriend, so weekends isn't really a time when I can get to play stuff, and it's just during the week, and I'm trying to balance doing other stuff, making videos, editing videos. So yeah, probably just lack of time. And thirdly, it's a lot more complicated. I know Lacosa did. In fact, Lacosa, if you get a chance, you could maybe email me across the keys. The problem is there's so many keys, and again, I get very, very easily confused with games. The original Elite, I suppose there were quite a few keys, but you had the overlay and that kind of stuff. You don't get that obviously with when you're buying a game off Steam. So there's a lot of keys, and yeah, that, like I said, that plus the time, and plus the fact that yeah, I don't know. There's just other things I want to do in my time. I don't know. I would love to get stuck into it. And it's the same with like some of these big adventure games. I'd love to play them, but it's just I don't really want. I'm quite selfish with my time. So anyway, thank you very much, Chris. Mad Commodore. Sometimes you can just go off the extra faff of turning a quick first-time gameplay session into a YouTube video, especially with a real C64 and all the problems with SD2IC compatibility. Right, that's a... Right, okay. Yeah, no, listen, thanks. There's not a question as such. He's just... Mad Commodore's just talking about him making his own videos. Thank you very much for your comments anyway, Squire. And the very, very last one, unless there's any questions in the actual text, Highlander, you're a good bloke and a hard worker. I don't blame you for wanting to take a break. You're paying your way in life, Alan. Doing a week's graft while trying to maintain a YouTube channel must be hard going. Take a break. Thank you very, very much. Right, I'm just going to quickly try and find a live stream and see if there's any wee questions before we wrap this thing up. Right, there's a live chat. How do we get rid of that? Bugger off. Trading 212, that thing can just bugger off. Like live chat, let me just quickly see if there's a... Yeah, Neil, I did. I bought that SD card for my... not my Pandora, I bought it for the Raspberry Pi, my new Raspberry Pi. I'm just going to pause that, I don't want to listen to my voice. Maybe there's not any questions. Da, 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 da. No, I don't see any. No. Anyway, listen, guys. I think that's what do you call it? Quite enough in me. It's Friday night. Go and do something better than watching an old Scottish guy talking pish. So anyway, listen, guys. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Like I said, it wasn't planned. I was sat down. I thought I'll record a video. Then I just thought I'll just do it live. It's always good fun. I will try. If I'm going to do it in the future, I will let you know. I promise. Maybe not. Don't know. But yeah, I will be along on Sunday, 7 o'clock until 7 o'clock till 9. Hopefully, Panther is going to get the door as always, please. And it's going to be Amiga. Put your games that you want to see me playing down below in the comments in this video, or else do it in Discord. And what I'll try and do is cobble together a list of Amiga games so that I don't have to piss about and look through lists and that kind of stuff. So anyway, listen, guys, I can actually say it because it is coming live on a Friday. I hope you all have a really nice Friday night. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I'll hopefully see you on Sunday. Until then, guys, take care and thanks very much for watching.